Hello again, welcome to some more Cities Skylines 2 in Bungusville. Now, I booted up the game, spotted a small traffic jam here around this intersection that roundabout that we've already kind of identified and seen as a bit of a problem area in the last videos. And then kind of without thinking, I just built a little tiny bypass here, because a lot of the through traffic here that was slowing things down was cars turning right in the roundabout to access the highway here. So I just popped that in. And then I thought about doing something similar over here, because this whole intersection is, it's clearly built to support very, very low traffic. It's pretty rough, generally. But I resisted. What I did then do is accidentally leave the simulation running for quite some time, so we're sat on about 3 million right now. Yeah, I started that, realised I needed to walk the dog, and then came back to, an account full of cash, so I'm not going to complain too much. What I also did was, I zoomed out briefly and saw this feature here that I quite like for a port. It's also well positioned to peel off the highway and back on without causing too much, hopefully, disruption. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do that. I think I already unlocked all of that stuff, right? Yeah, I already unlocked the harbour and that. So it's going to be those 4 map tiles. I'll probably unlock the 2 that include this intersection as well, just in case I want to use it. Generally, it's a nice bit of space to have too. So, transportation, water, cargo harbour. Very big. So it's probably going to end up going like there. I had kind of pictured it fitting into there, but obviously that's not the case. I could build a what do you call it? A quay with 4-lane road. Like so. Trying to make it so that this doesn't have a big elevation change. So what we could do is that, and then drop the cargo harbour onto it. No, I guess you actually kind of can't do that for some reason. That's a bit surprising. I sort of thought I would be able to drop it onto the quay, but I guess not. So, okay, I'm going to just take what I've got and sort of see how that looks if I put it there. That fits pretty well. It's like built onto the cliff and leaves us this nice little bay feature here. Right. Yeah. So the kind of remaining work then is roads. It looks like it's got 2 connection points. This one here. And this one here. Slope too steep. Okay, well that's not ideal. I guess we're going to have to do a road across the bottom like this. In my... Oh, there's another entrance over here as well. in my limited experience with cargo in cities, it generates so much more traffic than you could ever have imagined. So I'm just trying to like plan my plan my way in and out here. That's probably going to end up being one way. In fact, it's almost certainly going to end up being one way. Like a 2-lane one way. Running through here in this direction. It's complaining about 3 things there. Electricity, backed up sewer, and water. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Does it need particular electricity? No, it just needs low voltage connection from the road, so... which, to be fair, actually, it won't get because it's going to be connected exclusively to the highway, so I will actually have to run a... cable over, but I'll see where the roads end up before I do that. So that's going to be there. Needs swapping around, but that's fine. Now, how's this actually going to come off the highway here? Ideally, it would be nice. I think the best thing to do is to get 4 lanes here and then pull 2 off like this. And then they come onto the 2-lane one-way, which basically will just serve to like bring the speed down so we can have a nice tight curve here. I just keep forgetting to turn zoning off. Of course, the other thing we need is a... Okay, actually, hold the phone. Maybe this should be... No, I'm going to keep this as 2 lanes. And should I do a brief bit of 4-lane here? Sorry, 4-lane one-way. Just so that all of the lanes can come in cleanly. I'd be tempted to just make it all 4-lane just for the sake of continuity and just looking like a big kind of cargo industrial road. I don't know about that, but we'll see. So then, yeah, I also need a way to come in from the other side here. So I'll do the same thing and upgrade it to a 4-lane, just like, just right here. In order to come off here, go underground? Underground or overground, not sure. Oh, the clearance is too low. I thought that would be okay at 6.25. Because it's like downhill or something, maybe. I'm not sure. In any case, I think I'm actually going to do this underground. I don't know how far underground it has to be. But apparently 10 meters isn't enough. What is it doing here? It's doing some weird stuff. Okay, so how far? You have to go like 12 meters underground before it becomes an actual tunnel, it looks like. I'm sure that the terrain height here is playing a part in this, but there you go, that can now run under there properly. It's not graceful. And it also kind of makes this feel like wrong somehow. Okay, I think I can just put that connection to there and then use the move tool to kind of straighten this connection out. Well, straighten is the wrong word. Smooth, I guess, is what I'm going for. Why would there be lights there? That seems like a strange decision to automatically put lights there when it's just 2 lanes coming into 4. Lights would seem entirely unnecessary. I mean, it's not like... It's not beautiful, but, I mean, it works, I think. And then I basically just need to do the same thing over here. It's probably not going to be great having this, like... Okay, so I'll just build it and then we'll talk about it, but... I'm basically going to be having... a kind of situation here where... You know, 4 lanes come together and then immediately split up again. But from my experience in the US, it's very commonly done. I used to live in the UK. I lived in Coventry for a while, which is one of the cities in the UK that was most destroyed by bombing in World War II. It was a kind of centre of the motor trade in the UK, or, well, part of the centre of the UK. You know, a lot of cities were very involved in the motor industry in the UK, and Coventry was one of them. So as a result, it was a big, you know, strategic target for German bombing. And all of its historic centre was completely destroyed, basically. This is hideous. And the result is that it's one of the few cities in the UK that has a much more... I don't know if modern is the right word, but it has a much more... I want to say American approach to road design. It has a lot of, like... surprisingly large highways in the city centre, like flyovers and underpasses running directly through what would have back in the day been the historic centre of town. That's really ugly. I didn't really expect it to be so difficult to get this to be curving in a natural manner. Anyway, yeah, so the result is that Coventry has a lot of these kind of... how would I describe them? Coventry has a lot of these sort of X-pattern junctions where 4 lanes come together and then immediately split up again. So there's this whole section of road where people are just violently merging across one another because they have to get to the other side of the road whilst trying to travel at highway speeds, which is wild. I never had too much trouble with it, but if you're not super confident a driver, then it's a nightmare, as far as I understand. I think the way to do this for me is just a big long... Yeah, trying to get the slopes to look good in CS2 is sort of nightmare stuff, but I'll do the best I can. Well, it's, I've seen better, I've seen worse. It may not even really be super functional, but we'll see. So yeah, I do need to now connect this to electricity and water, so I can just go ahead and bridge the combined sewage and electricity, sewage and water pipes across there. And I can do the same with low voltage power, just run it underground across the way like that. Right? Yeah. So now this needs a waterway connection. So cargo ship route tool. Medium seaway. Oh, I see, okay. So do I have to unlock all of these tiles to do that? That seems a bit rough, but I suppose I can do that. How much is that going to cost me? $90,000 per month, and an initial payment of $500,000. I wonder if I could do it in one strip here. Also not very nice of it to not show me, but luckily I remembered. Okay, it doesn't have to be connected on both ends. Fair enough. So could I do that so that they turn more kind of efficiently? Let's see what this does then, if anything. Essentially, all this will be doing is taking some vehicles off of the highways that would be delivering... oh, we've got a big traffic jam. Oh, we've got a really big traffic jam. What's this? It's a load of vehicles heading into this mixed housing here. Tailing way, way, way back there. That's interesting, surprising. Is it moving traffic? I'm not sure. I don't think so. These buildings have been here for a while. But that is pretty much the cause of it, is cars turning left across the, you know, across the lane here and getting stopped up, turning into... That's not ideal. Did I make a bus route over here? Yeah, I did. So people there don't have to drive wherever they're going. I'm going to keep an eye on that and see if it sort of actually continues, or whether that might just be kind of a one-time thing. So I can actually make a railway connection with this, apparently. Which would let me use rail. Like if this got very far advanced and I needed to get cargo from some big industrial area, you know, multiple even big industrial areas over to the port without using the roads at all, then I could do that. That would be cool. Yeah, this one building is causing a lot of problems with the number of cars headed into it for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is. So they're driving here. Shopping. Shopping. They're all driving here to shop. So, okay. I mean, that's fine. Or it would be if I hadn't zoned an apparently incredibly busy store on a collector road. Considering there's a multi-story car park across the road, what if, okay, let's make this parking much, much cheaper. So is the parking here just free and there's nothing I can do about that? I don't really know if I can even... Yeah. Can't really even see parking details for that building. If I make this parking really, really, really cheap, perhaps people will park there instead, because that wouldn't cause massive, horrific problems. Hey, look at this. There's a post van visiting the harbour. Oh, there's going to be huge problems here with vehicles suddenly crossing 3 lanes because they have no concept of getting into the right lane in advance. So I probably need to be reducing all of these lanes, all of these down to 2 lanes once they've kind of come off the highway. Should have, dang it, should have done this. Let me put it back into 4 lane, and then the 2 lanes over this side. And then giving them the opportunity to, once again, spread to 4 lanes. Don't know if there's any way to make that less ugly. Pretty sure there isn't. That helped a bit. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit less ugly. So I think so far it's just like dump trucks collecting waste here. No container, no big cargo ships have actually visited us yet, as far as I can tell. So here's my water connection to Melcombe. Do I need to make a line? I think I probably need to make a line. Cargo ship route tool. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Pathfinding failed to there. Interesting. I don't know why, but... Okay, instead of sending them to both, I guess I'll use one. Oh, my game crashed. Well, I'll just restart the game and see when it last quick saved, I guess. Surely it wasn't long ago. Right? Right, Paradox? I know that Paradox don't develop the game. Just a joke. Just a joke. Calm down. Okay, well, it was before I reduced the lane sizes, but okay, yeah, I don't think we lost much there. Was it before I? Yes, it was before I adjusted this parking, so that is quite a while ago, to be fair. We also still have quite a bit of traffic piling up at this junction here. Well, it's not horrific, but realistically this needs to change. This whole setup here is kind of bad. So we'll kind of mentally store that in our brain, in our collective brain. And yeah, this is a huge problem. This needs to change somehow, and I'm not entirely sure how yet. But I think making the parking across the road free will maybe help. Maybe, because it will just encourage people to pull into that instead of across the road. Although I think it's possible that then people pulling out of this parking garage will cause the exact same problem, but in reverse. We'll find out once that's had some time to update people's routes. Right, so I'm just going to quickly do this lane adjustment here. Except this time I'm just going to make these highway connections one lane. Because then we have 3 lanes in to 3 lanes out, and I think that may in some way be smarter. The only reason I did a double on this is because I wanted to have people sort themselves out into, you know, either cutting through or in the right lane for turning in. But I don't think that really actually functionally works like I would want it to, just because the way the Sims, CIMS that is, kind of path doesn't really account for that logic very well. But I'm going to change them to one lane, just because I somehow just think that will actually be better in the long run. It might force people to sort their lanes out a little sooner. It also might not, but only time will tell on that. I would definitely like to, if I could, smooth this a little bit. Something like that. This has somehow disconnected. So wait, the power? No, the power also disconnected. I think I can just connect it in a weird little underground thing like that. Is that right? There you go, that's connected. So yeah, I need to do the lines as well. And you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to just go ahead and save. Because it didn't seem to like this. So what I was planning on doing was connecting this one to Roslyn Heights, which for some reason it doesn't seem able to do. Not sure what that's about. I would like it to be able to use I would like it to be able to use both, you know, sides here, basically. How do I remove a seaway? Oh, there you go. What if I were to do this? It's weird that it's pathfinding failing. Okay. Don't bulldoze the building. Don't be silly. Something about these seaways is not pleased. Can I connect them now? Okay, yeah, it appears now to be able to find a route, so that's good. So if I do one there, and then... Okay, this now appears to be connected properly as well. I think it must have been something about how I had made the seaways curl away from the... something or other. Right, so destination, cargo harbour. Bringing 150 tons of coal and 100 tons of stone. Why would we be importing coal? Pretty sure we don't need that. Well, maybe it's carrying it, but we won't buy it. We'll see. Pretty sure we're mining coal. Yeah, producing 88, 87. I'm pretty sure we have an excess of coal. But let's see what this here ship does, if anything. It pulls into the harbour, which it, well, I mean, doesn't quite look right. Oh, and it just all vanishes. Okay. But now we have 150 tons of coal and 100 tons of stone for some reason. Well. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure why we would do that, but we have now imported some coal and stone. As far as I can tell, I don't get to choose. Well, here we have a large cargo ship coming in empty, so... And this is from Rosalind Heights. Is it going to now purchase the coal and stone that we just... That would be funny. Because we haven't brought anything else here. Except for unsorted mail. I suppose it could take that. Okay, no, that just came and left with nothing. So why is this port just getting filled with things? Well, I'm not... I suppose all I can do is wait and see whether or not that starts getting used in a more logical way. And I would like to build a big parking lot as well. Naturally. Just because employees will be parking along the road like this, and I would rather they parked in a lot nearby. So this cargo harbour is costing us currently 183,000 per month, and as far as I can tell, isn't really doing anything for us. These Rosalind Heights cargo ships are arriving, sitting here for a while. For a long while. For a really long while. For an alarmingly long while, and then leaving with nothing. Meanwhile, other cargo ships are just arriving with random goods and selling them to us. And I'm not sure if there's any way I can sort of, well, you know, let's just try not to think about it too much. I would really love to see some of my local cargo kind of headed out, though. Maybe I simply don't produce enough. Anyway, let's try not to think about it too much. We've still got this same traffic problem here that I don't think is really solvable without, well, basically moving this building. Which is a shame because it's doing so well. But I'm just not sure that it can actually work because of the parking situation. It's a road that basically shouldn't really have that zoned on it. Yeah, unfortunately I think that's gonna have to go. Like really neither of those should really be there on that road. So I'm thinking I should put them somewhere more like in here inside the neighborhood. So I think what we can do is we could test putting the same thing in here and see what happens. Because otherwise that's just always going to cause too many problems with cars turning across what is actually quite a main road. And then instead we will see when this eventually gets zoned. Oh, I think I zoned the wrong thing there, and that's why it never got built. Just waiting for these houses to disappear. I could just bulldoze them. I'm just going to bulldoze them. I don't have to wait. We're basically directly replacing those two buildings over here. It's currently suggesting it's not going to have car access. Is that telling us that we could actually have a rear access? It's cool if that's actually so, but I don't think it is. We'll see when it's built. It does feel a little bit like I've just built a cargo port for no reason. And it wouldn't be the first time. It's a strange thing to be able to say, but I don't think it would be the first time that I've built a cargo port that doesn't do anything. Okay, we are actually taking concrete from it to some of our industry, but obviously we're not. It's not like we're alleviating traffic because we're just unloading from the cargo harbour directly onto the same highway that would be coming from out of town anyway. So yeah, not 100% sure I accomplished anything there. So this vehicle has like rear parking, it looks like. So if I were to build a road along here, that would actually join up. So apologies, but a couple of houses are getting demolished there. Oh, interesting. It moved. Why did that happen? Oh, that got rid of one bit of zoning. Why did that? There you go. I'm so confused as to why. Fill the whole thing, please. I don't know why it works like that. There we go. It's still complaining about the no car access thing, though. Perhaps we'll just put the one there. And we'll just put medium density housing in that spot instead. Which looks like it's going to say the same thing. I'll let it build and see if I can resolve that problem. No, the same thing happened. It split into two. Oh, I'm not going to ask too many questions. I'm just going to say the line and move on with my life. I don't know why it works like that. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure removing those from there has resolved that traffic problem for now. We'll just have to see whether or not it's just moved it somewhere else. We still will get regular traffic problems around this roundabout. Solutions might be slightly more complicated here, because it's related to this kind of section of road more broadly. I'm actually wondering if there's any reason at all for this sort of cut through here to exist. I mean, it lets people out. I think it does kind of need to exist. It is also part of my tram routes. Not that I should let that stop me from changing things around. I'm just going to let that run for a while and see if I can come up with anything. Apparently we're getting traffic heading out of this business park, the office park, at 5 o'clock. There is another way out on the other side. There's traffic building up heading into this industrial as well. A lot of people crossing the road. They're arriving at bus stop here. I probably want to take the crossing away from them there and put it over here or something instead, and then do the same over here. There shouldn't be any need to cross the road there. So that should help this flow a little bit more smoothly. You know, ultimately I do know that you can't just solve all of your problems with roundabouts. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're working terribly. There's also a lot of people crossing the roads actually at this roundabout. This could be done with a flyover. Or under, but either. Probably. Not sure. Probably under. Makes more sense here. Slope too steep. So can I do 6.25 and go under the road here? No, because it's joined onto the road. The way it like just doesn't make a tunnel is really strange to me. Like, just go underground, bro. You know what I'm asking for. I feel like the tunnel could start so much earlier, you know? Why does it have to wait until the road to be a tunnel? All these questions and more. But anyway, there you go. That gives them a little way across the road there, and then they can cross to whichever side of the road they need to be on. Somewhere a little bit more sensible. Yes. Similarly, I've put tram stops here that unload a lot of people at this junction who then need to cross. So I should probably be doing the same thing here with a pedestrian, let's say a pedestrian solution. The final pedestrian solution. We could go like this. Maybe we could kiss. And then get rid of the mandatory crossing that it for some reason creates. I'm okay with keeping this as a light-controlled junction. I have no issues with that. Because the traffic volume isn't that high. Usually. And I'm hoping to make the traffic volume stay even lower. Okay, well this is still a problem. I'm not sure why they're stopped right now. Oh, because they need to turn into that left lane. Okay, well, one thing worth noting is that's currently the only way into that industrial park. Well, not strictly speaking, but it's the nearest way into that industrial park. So perhaps what I should be doing is giving them an additional option here. If I were to do that, perhaps it will take some strain off of this roundabout. If I'm going to do that though, then what these roads should be thought of as collectors and could bridge across to the other side of Cornfield Street there. So Evergreen, yeah, Cornfield comes off of Evergreen down there and goes all the way along up to Autumn Meadows. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Alright, all manner of things have been loaded into this cargo harbour now. And I have no idea just going to go ahead and pay that loan off. I have no idea whether or not it's being used for anything but import. It, I think, is just exclusively being used for import right now. And I don't know why. I mean, if all it does is look pretty, then so be it at the end of the day. Not that it does. Okay, right. We need more people, basically, I think, is where we're at. I sort of want more industrial to try and better use the, you know, our new shiny cargo stuff, but there is simply no reason to do that. By the way, can I just say, the blue and white mouse on the snowy background is just an incredible decision, guys. I don't know why it works like that. Alright, show me air pollution. So probably for further residential, I'm probably looking at... Ooh, where indeed? Where am I looking at? In this little nook would seem like a decent space for a little bit more. I could also sort of increase the usage of this area a bit. I think I can get away with that, but let's find out. If I basically made a sort of additional... Oops, this wanted to be curved. If I go some way, basically, to completing the wheel of this spoke and wheel... Oh, sorry, wheel and spoke. I did that completely uneven. So let's go 139. Oh, wait, it's 161, so I need to do 161. Or very close to. Alright, well that isn't, it's not super clean looking. Okay, there's a number of reasons I don't like this. What I'm going to do is build off of this instead, just so that I'm not... I don't want to just create some hell junctions. He says probably doing that anyway, but you know. At least I'm thinking about it. That's something, right? That's something. Yeah, sure. So I need to learn from my mistake and not really do much zoning along Brightwater Street here, and keep it pretty exclusively to the interior, to the actual neighborhood. So let's do medium density row housing. Do a load of low density in the center. Some more row housing on this street in. Wow, that ate a lot of demand. And we'll do a little bit of commercial over here. The commercial is sort of what's producing a lot of my traffic problems at the moment, it seems. That has created just the tiniest little slither of industrial demand. Probably once people actually move in and these houses level up a bit, that will grow slightly. What's happened here? 5 industrial buildings burned down? I mean, I don't feel... Okay, well, now I kind of see why that happened. I have a small firehouse just tucked away over here. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a slightly larger firehouse over here in this industrial zone, but with relatively easy reach to the city. We seem to get quite a lot of car accidents. I'm assuming, perhaps incorrectly, that that's just completely random and there's basically nothing I can do about it. Other than encourage people not to use them. Cars, that is. What is all of these? Every single one of these houses has an identical little garden thing, is all I can describe it as. What is it supposed to be? It'll probably be turf in the summer, but it looks like a... In the winter, when it's just pure white, it looks like a bug. It looks like it's not supposed to look like that. Yeah. Very strange. Uh-oh, big traffic. Okay, I'm going to say this is probably because of moving in. I could be wrong, but I think this is probably because I just built a load of new housing. Because it's all turning up here. Headed towards it. So I'm going to let this play through and we'll see if it actually sustains for more than just one day. It does beg the question though, why is it coming from down here so much? Unless people are moving out of Barlow Fields to go to a... Well, I'll tell you what, I could say the Hooper family. Sorry, I did that wrong. Going to work, going to work. Going to work. Going to work. Uh-oh. Going to work. Going home. So, you're going to work? Where? Okay, now you're going home. Well, a lot of the traffic is turning into this industrial area here. So in giving everybody another option for how to get into this industrial estate, for example, if somebody works here at Walmsbury's, instead of going along here, in and across, they will all invariably take this route, it looks like. Oh, on the other hand, we reached Great Town and unlocked the Ice Flake Arena. So what can I do that would help this situation? I'm not sure, basically. I thought this would be a helpful little addition, but it turns out, I think, actually to be more problematic. In fact, it's also probably... I want people to be getting over to Autumn Meadows using this long, swooping road, but for a lot of journeys, it's probably actually faster to go up here now. So I'm wondering if maybe... maybe this should be one way. So that people can get to work from Autumn Meadows like this, but I don't want people taking this as a rat run through to Autumn Meadows. I don't know whether that's going to help or not. But there's only one way to find out. It's interesting that the industrial demand kind of briefly, well, industrial and office demand briefly rose and then kind of immediately fell back down again. So I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, traffic has cleared now, so we'll see if it comes back again at, you know, 5-ish, the usual time when there's a load of traffic. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these heat maps for commercial. Because we have so much commercial demand right now. I'm wondering if I should have a tiny bit of commercial mixed in with some of this office and industrial demand. Do I get some unique commercial, apart from the Ice Flake Arena? It's enormous. What the... It's gigantic. There is almost literally nowhere in my city that fits. I would like to try and build it in somewhere, but I don't want to cause absolutely hideous traffic in doing so. Anyway, it's now 5-ish o'clock, and yeah, this is a problem. Well, look, I hate to say it, but what if it was a roundabout? Have you considered making it a roundabout? I mean, they just work so much better. Except for when they don't. So what do I need to do to this junction? It's been a problem for this entire... Well, basically the entire time it's existed, this spot has been a problem. And it's not really about traffic on and off the highway. It's... is it literally completely jammed right now? It is, isn't it? It's actually 100% jammed. That tram was just weirdly holding it up for some reason. Like, it feels like I need a bypass. But that would be bonkers. There is a better solution, surely. Don't call me Shirley. So there is a lot of traffic coming off the highway here, to be fair. And it's mainly trying to get to my kind of industrial area and offices. Perhaps we finally need an interchange over here somewhere. If I were to just grab this map tile real quick to give me a bit more space. Perhaps if I just had a uterine junction. Like here. No, that's really a highway to highway junction, isn't it? Okay, I really hate that this says can support medium to high volumes of traffic, but in my experience, this intersection works horrifically. Or it's my fault that it works horrifically. I shouldn't blame the intersection. Yeah, I just need a local connection, basically. So I probably want this trumpet, right? Just stick a trumpet roundabout off there. Pull it straight onto cornfield, maybe. Let's just let's run that and see what it does. I probably have to actually own another map tile or two. And then we need to go. So 2 lanes come off here. And 2 lanes come off here, but going in the other direction, I'll swap them around in a second. Like that. And just need to join this up over here. And then this being this wants to connect like to my 4-lane arterial of sorts. I don't know why I say of sorts like that. It is an arterial. It may not be being used exactly correctly to the letter of what an arterial should be, but it is what it is. And that goes like that. Let's make sure there's no jiggery-pokery happening here. I don't want people to be able to do U-turns here. It's just straight through exclusively. Let's also go ahead and get rid of all of that. Wait, this is a 35 road? That makes no sense, really? Surely we could do better than that. Is it faster if there's a divider? Probably not, but nope. And that deleted my no U-turns rule, dang it. Well, let's see if that helps us at all. I don't want to say almost certain, but I'm relatively sure it doesn't help us at all. I do think I'm going to change how Cornfield Street looks here as well. Feels like there's no point having I accidentally used the divider. Ah! My trams ran down Cornfield Street. Ah! What have I done? Okay. So it was this road. That node. And I want to just try and pull that off there at 90 degrees. And just join here straight. Then I can swap this to one without the divider so it looks pretty. And put tram tracks on here. There we go. Problem solved, right? Problem solved. As to how much this will solve the problem I'm actually having, I don't know. It probably won't. What I'm hoping is that the pathfinding will see spending the additional time on the highway here to come down here as worth it over pulling off and taking this local road here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that won't be the case, but we can find out. Because there'll probably be a lot of people from over this side of Barlow Field coming along. Let me come a little closer down. There'll probably be a lot of people coming out this direction onto these streets that could maybe now actually come out and join the highway over here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Only way to know is to let it run and actually find out. But hey, at least right now at 11:30 at night, there's no traffic jams. Let me just go ahead and put day-night on. I just have to turn it on and off every now and then. Because I find it really difficult to build sometimes at night in the game. I'm still pretty sure this is being used for almost nothing. Wait, no, hang on. There's 20 tons of metal ore coming from Full Skill Grinding, which is a warehouse that stores metal ore. Okay. It's literally just a warehouse. Well, whatever, I'm not going to think about it. Oh, I see. Okay, I think I understand. Hang on. So this showing metal ore in green means that it will export, whereas showing concrete with red there means that it will import, and it will just try to keep roughly 150 tons of each material at that kind of balance point, I guess. I think. It's hard to say for sure. But I think that's right. That feels right. Why is there a waiting for ambulance notification here for nobody? Well, that's weird. Try not to think about that too much. I don't know why it works that way. Anyway, it doesn't seem like I caused any major traffic problems by moving this into here. Well, hold on a moment. 52 Birch Street. Damsku's Diner is apparently serving 4 customers a month. And, okay, now 5 customers a month. And generating an income of 250,000 per month from those 5 customers. Each customer is spending 50,000 per month at this diner. I don't know why it works like that. This game is bonkers. Why even... Why even manufacture these numbers, right? Why do the math to work out how many customers this place is serving per month if the financial values are going to just be completely disconnected from that? Oh, I don't know, don't think about it. This way lies only pain. Anyway. I think that we can still run far more residential off of everything else that we currently have. So I'm going to keep zoning a little bit more up here. I kind of like it, for some reason I can't do that at 90. There we go. I kind of like this residential butting up against the agricultural land. It's just kind of got a nice vibe to it. I'm going to go with low density over here, so that there's just little low density houses up against the farm. And then we'll do some medium density row housing on the inside. We'll see how that feels before I do anything else. I'm very surprised at the moment, though, by the balance of demand for residential versus industrial. Which is to say, there is basically no demand for industrial, despite producing more housing. I genuinely appear to just have a permanent waiting for ambulance thing here. I don't know. I don't know. Let me go ahead and take a look at specialized industries some more. Oh, we have offshore oil. I don't know how you do offshore oil. I'm pretty sure you can. But I don't know how. I'm also realizing now that I'm sat on 12 development points. I would be tempted to start thinking about a subway. I mean, I'm definitely going to at least unlock the subway. I should probably unlock like larger police, fire, and medical services. Because I think that the kind of next phase of the kind of development here is just like expanding the residential quite substantially. Just straight up growing the population. Wow, hospitals are expensive. Wow, fire stations are even more expensive. And yeah, so subway would be... it'd probably be a bit much for now. Doesn't necessarily feel required just yet. I would love if we could get some people off of the buses and onto trams. I'm not sure why the trams are so very underused. Could it be just because they are such long routes? Should I maybe be doing more specific? Perhaps it would be better if they were able to go on shorter, more specific trips rather than running the tram service like a loop, as I am right now. Let's look into that. If I added tram lines through where's the line right now? There it is. If I added tram lines through here, which means of course I have to get rid of the tree from this roundabout because we can't be having that. Heavens no. Don't be ridiculous. Yeah, if I were to add tram lines through here, all the way through here, then that would let me have more specific lines, right? So I could go to... whoa, what's just happened over here? I just saw a load of weird stuff happen over here. What was that? Okay, don't think about it. I swear I saw a load of abandoned building things pop up over here. I don't know what that was about. Right, so where we currently have these loop lines, I could have one going... you know, though, actually, really come to think of it, I think that perhaps a greater problem here is that none of these actually run into the... They don't run centrally. That's probably why they're not being used so much, is because they don't basically go directly up to somebody's front door. So if we added tram lines like through here like this gives us the option of putting a tram stop. No track connection. Oh yes, because of course all of the roundabouts here have things on them. Because I didn't want them to just be featureless, so I made roundabouts with trees and such. So kill me. Alright, now I should be able to run straight through all the way. Like so. Yes, indeed. So that would let me place a tram stop, for example, here, actually within Evergreen. and directly in the center of Barlow Fields. And do a line like Barlow Field to there. Now here's something I would like to know. Presumably I can't do a two-way tram track on a one-way road. No, that can only go back that way, but that's fine, I guess. So I could do a tram loop that goes from here across to here, onto here, up to there, and then back down again into Barlow Fields. So would that be a more attractive tram line? Barlow, oh, caps on. Evergreen. Can't remember what this industrial. Fairview. No vehicles. There are currently no vehicles available. I'm going to go ahead and lower the cost as always. But on this one I'm going to leave it day and night, and I'm also going to leave it at the kind of automatically assigned 6 vehicles, even though that seems like a lot. So the tram depot here has 10 vehicles. I'm going to go ahead and add a garage extension to it for 15. So yeah, you're definitely not really designed to have a lot of trams. But these are getting such little usage right now, it's crazy. Like it's at 4% of its capacity. It feels like they could be doing better than that. Why is there love hearts coming off of this building right now? Are people... You know what I'm going to ask. I don't even need to say it. This is apparently the designated loitering spot. Okay, good to know. Everybody's just still super car-pilled. They're all just going home from work. They work at the firehouse. Which is this, right? Like, why do they need to... If they live over here somewhere, why do they have to drive? You don't have to drive to get to there. There's trams, there's buses. Hell, you could take your bike. Annoying. They're so car-pilled. Okay, yeah, traffic here is actually legitimately pretty bad right now. Just kind of on this good old-fashioned central junction. Because so many people are just crossing directly across here. Which is something I tried to kind of make not happen. But they sure are. It's pretty cataclysmically bad as well. Well, a lot of the slowdown is coming from people crossing the road here. And there must be a better place that they could do that, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those crossings. And I'll just make them do it further down the road, basically. Of course, for the longest time, they will just keep crossing there because they set off 2 days ago. And, well, when I left home, there was a crossing there, so I'm just going to cross. Naturally. But yeah, there's just a near endless flow of cars, of traffic coming across from Evergreen into Barlow. And that's holding up all of this highway traffic. In a really upsetting way. What could I do to resolve this, I wonder? I mean, would it be insane and radical to actually prevent people from leaving Evergreen here in the first place? It would essentially just force them. Yeah, I think it would be kind of insane. Well, it did eventually clear, but that was really rough, just like evening traffic, wasn't it? I'm not sure if I'm not giving people enough options for transport here, or what, but it doesn't feel like that. I would have kind of said this should be like a cleaner intersection of some sorts, but I don't think it should have to. It should never get to that sort of level of traffic, I don't think. But I'm not super certain what the actual solution is. If it was somehow more attractive to take Evergreen Street around onto the highway or what have you, instead of going through Barlow, that would be great. But I think for a lot of people over here in Evergreen, their robot brain is telling them that the best way to get to their destination is to cut straight down Manor Street in Barlow. So the connection here onto Evergreen is over this corner of it's confusing that it's out of Evergreen Crossing onto Evergreen Street, by the way. I appreciate that. I feel like that shouldn't be a big problem. And only having 2 connections to the arterial road here should, I think, be fine. I'm relatively certain that there's some fundamental issue with the structure of this kind of part of the city. I'm going to try not to worry about it too much and just zone some more industrial. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Ooh, can do high density business now. It doesn't seem like a good idea, but I can do it. And I don't, again, I don't really know where I have to have it. So my, like, customer density is obviously all these population centers, but just by virtue of being connected to roads, it does add some customers. And I don't want to have high density commercial down by my down in my population centers because traffic's already bad enough. Like, at some point I'm going to be making a shopping center with lovely tram and bus connections. I assume. I find myself still wanting to make more specialized industry. Like, I feel like I could have a couple more farms and that would make me happy somehow. So I think I'm probably going to unlock a few tiles over here where there's this fertile land. And take a road off of there. And just make some grain farms, you know? Put one there. And just kind of give it a big old field. And then adjust that so that that's actually at 90 degrees in the corner. There you go. I don't know if it's crazy to actually use gravel roads here. It feels like a bad idea. I'm just going to swap to the... I thought it would be quaint, but then I actually thought about the trucks using it going at 10 miles an hour and decided against. I came to something resembling my senses. Okay, I'm finding it impossible to make this road for some reason. Just going to go ahead and strip all the zoning off of that because, as usual, I forgot to turn it off. Grain farm, vegetable farm. And we'll make that one like that. Square up those angles a bit. Textile fiber farming. Textile fiber farming. Yeah, I don't know. Suddenly I just realized that I wanted more farms. I can't explain it, and I don't think I have to, thankfully. I don't think any of you are going to ask. It just had to be done. Why is this not snapping together? There we go. If my experience with farmers has taught me anything, none of these will make any profit. And yet, they'll all drive Bentleys. No offense, farmers. But I think you're filthy liars. Okay, I'm going to have at least one of them that has a dirt road. I can't help myself. I need to make a dirt road. I would also, what I would love to do here is zone commercial until I get a gas station pop up. I think that would be the ideal little bit of flavor to this rural area, is just a singular gas station. If I could convince this to work how I want it to. There we go. Then we can run that all the way down there, pretty much. Just have to get onto the corner of this road there somehow. Okay, I guess that's how that's going. See, I think that's cool. And I think that might mean there's something wrong with me, but I don't think I'll ever change. Oh, nice, and we've unlocked the dairy house because we made so many farms. See? I knew what I was doing. He said, pretendingly. Beautiful. Fantastic. I've never seen anything more beautiful in my life. So the dairy house. Plus 2% export profits citywide. Wow. Well, yeah, obviously I'm going to build that here. It doesn't make much sense because there's no livestock farming here, but I could change that. Let's do this at 125, maybe. A good angle. It's not my favorite angle, but it's a pretty good angle nonetheless. My favorite angle, since you ask, yeah, tough to say off the top of my head, but I'm leaning towards 29 degrees. So this agriculture, this livestock farm doesn't look much like one. There you go. They got cows. That's what I was hoping for. Cows. Next to the dairy house. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Presumably very few people work at these. Yeah, 12, 8, 7, 8. Yeah, they don't employ many people, so I feel totally fine about having this funny little road just spurred off of the arterial there, which definitely shouldn't have all of those pedestrian crossings and such. Neither should this one, really. I'm okay with the lights here. It might not really need to be light controlled, but I don't mind it being light controlled. I don't think it's going to cause any problems. Okay, my tram lines are being used a bit more now. I just saw that the passengers per month was 1,600, so they are being adopted slightly more on account of putting these extra stations in more kind of downtown locations. Just realised that the background music I had playing had stopped, and I have no idea when. But that's okay. I need to end the episode anyway, because I have to head out in about 15 minutes. I'm probably going to end up changing the shape of these to be a little bit more uniform, at the expense of some productivity, I'm sure. It just seems a little silly the way it's currently laid out. Yeah, that's well, that's kind of better. Alright, anyway, thank you for tuning in. Did we accomplish much today? I'm not sure. Is this junction still a nightmare? Yes. Will it ever change? I don't know. This one is also kind of a nightmare. At some point I need to follow some of these people around and see where it is they're going. But it's pretty much just people... It's just crosstown traffic, you know? What can you do about that? Well, we'll never know. Hopefully I'll see you in a moment when you autoplay the next video on the channel. Either way, goodbye.